I've been working around system, server, deployment, cloud, and all this stuff except coding. So there will be less code in my session. The code that you'll see will be YAML code, scripting, or other things. And I'll talk less about AI because I'm personally tired of listening to AI everywhere. Yeah, although I use AI a lot, honestly. And the topic of today's session will be from Dockerfile to live server with Kamal deployment. How many of you guys have done deployment in any server and anywhere? Yeah. You guys are familiar with Kamal? Yeah. This is honestly my first ever session that I'm giving. So I don't have very fluent English, so there will be mixed Nepali as well. Hope you guys are comfortable. In Kamal is basically a deployment tool that is developed by DHH that Ruby and Rails developer likes very much. They love. And the main task that the main problem that Kamal solves is the deployment process. It is the deployment process. How many of you feel that deployment process is lengthy, or it's taking long time, or it is hectic to see the changes in this live app or anything? You guys feel that? Yes. Exactly that problem it solves. It solves the problem by handling the build process of the application throughout the push and everything. We'll talk later on. And the main command that we use is Kamal deploy. That is why I have included that in this slide. And what is Kamal? Kamal is sort of a platform as a service kind of thing. Kamal helps to push the code, deploy the code, and run the application from your local device to the actually production server or live server. And it also ensures the zero downtime, which is actually difficult to get when it is a monolith application or personal project or anything, portfolio application, that it solves in a cheaper way rather than of Kubernetes, Docker Swarm. Have you guys heard of Kubernetes, Docker Swarm? Yeah. And it is mostly focused to Docker-centric. I'll give you guys a short demo and you guys will understand further. The foundation that Kamal uses is this. Kamal deploy uses the development environment, which is in your local machine. It does the Docker build, and it pushes the Docker build to the Docker Hub, and it does SSH to the server, live server, and in production server side, it pulls the image and inserts the zero downtime, and it reroute the application via traffic. And Kamal deploy is in order to use Kamal deploy, you must have the SSH connection to the server, app server, from your local machine. That is a prerequisite kind of thing. Kamal is also the commands we use in Kamal are very much familiar to Git. Like we use Kamal init to initialize the process of the use of Kamal. And we use registry as well, SSH access as well. Everything, we can call it as a wrapper of the development process for deployment. Yeah. The main Kamal brain lies in the deploy.ml file. Deploy.ml file, in very high level overview, it has the service, that is the app name, and it has the image. Image can be that we can use the Docker image with the Docker username, Docker anything, and there will be server, and we'll just need the IP of the server, and there will be username and password. I have used username as plain text here, but don't do it. And Kamal also uses the zero downtime strategy, which is kind of interesting and lucrative thing if you see Kamal. And Kamal, how does it do it? It is quite interesting. Firstly, the Kamal builds the app, deploys the app in the server using the traffic, so that the application that previous app version application is active. If the application is active in the server, then Kamal deploys it in another port, which makes both application alive, active, reachable. And after that, after a certain period of time, it shifts the traffic from one application or reroute the traffic to the another port, which ensures zero downtime. Yeah, and the alternatives that we see of Kamal in this world, in this field, is Heroku, Kubernetes, Kamal, I have mentioned here. And the complexity of these tools are changing. It has different level of complexity. If you see Kubernetes, it has immense, tremendous amount of complexity if you see as a beginner, because there is orchestration, nodes, pods, cluster, everything you feel that is too much. And there is Kamal, it has low complexity, which is its USP, we can say. And about the cost, Heroku and Kubernetes has high cost, but Kamal has pretty low cost. And in case of control, Kubernetes gives a bit good control, but it lacks the complete control, as you can code, you can give the absolute instruction, but in Kamal we have full. That is fascinating. And the deployment workflow here that we use is very simple, very generic. For this, we build the application and push and pull and roll. It is very easy. For building, let's say we use Docker container. We build the application through Docker, a script or anything, and we push through Docker Hub access. That we also need that Docker Hub access to our local machine, so that it can be able to push the Docker image to the Docker Hub registry, and after that you can pull it as a Docker image, like we do in monolith application. We use Docker Compose a lot. Docker Compose pull, Docker Compose op dash detach, Docker Compose op dash build, everything, whatever. And after that, the rolling part also comes, and it's is done by Kamal deploy if the application is already deployed. If the application you are deploying is for the first time, that is Kamal setup. Yeah, this image, I was not able to crop it in a good shape. Sorry for that. And it has also multi-server support, which means that you can go from you can deploy the application in multiple servers. Yes, like if we see the pods, different pods that we use in Kubernetes in such a way that it ensures the failover or anything. Ensures the uptime, 100% uptime or maximum uptime. It has multi-server support as well. Yeah. For the live server activation, the process it follows is it boots new container on a temporary port that that helps to keep the application up and running in the case of deployment as well, which ensures its 100% uptime. And it waits till it gets 200 get request, 200 reply OK request. That we write it in deploy.yml or main app as code, and it update through the traffic and stop old container after 10 seconds. And you guys can use Kamal for if your deployment is failed. There is deploy rollback option as well, and the main repo, open source repo is this, and you guys can read docs from these links. And demo, I'll give a short demo. Hope it works. Yeah, I have already tested it multiple times, so yeah. Yeah, this is one application structure. Is this visible for you guys? Yeah, I'll try. Yeah, this is a simple application in which this is a Python application. Basically, it has a main app inside this app directory. This is main.py. It doesn't have anything special. It has just this code. And for Kamal, we use config file a lot. You guys are familiar because you guys are Ruby on Rails developer. Everything is inside the config file. Important one. And we have to keep Dockerfile, and here is requirement.txt because it is necessary for this application. And in order to run the Kamal deployment, we should first Kamal setup, run this command. First it locks the deployment, it initiates the deployment, and after that it tests and it builds the application, and it connects to the server, and it completes the first setup part. Yeah, this internet is quite slow. Yeah, this looks quite fancy, but it is not. It is very simple inside. Yeah, if you see the from that output thoroughly, then it is a quite simple thing.
We are recording videos. Make sure no keys are exposed.
Yeah, I'll try my best. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We have done the setup part, so I'll try to show you. Yeah. Yeah, this is the deploy.yml file that I'm talking about, and here the structure is basically that I have used my own Docker of registry, personal, and I have created an image named ROR-demo, and there is server that I have given the IP of the server, and there is proxy that Kamal helps to set up by it. Set up domain, SSL, and port, and other things, that boring things that comes in deployment cycle. And there is a registry part where you specify the username, password, and registry link as well if you have. And there is SSH part that I have instructed is it to use explicitly root so that it doesn't stop me anywhere. And there is builder. Builder is that we use AMD 64 for this particular build. And for deploy, we use Kamal deploy. And in this process, it builds the application and deploy it to the server. Everything is looking green, works. Hope it works. And also, let's check it in server. Yeah, it is actually already deployed, but I have again ran the command, so it shows the status. Yeah, the application is live since 5 seconds, so it worked. That's it, guys. Thank you. Yeah, this is quite fun to play tool. I recommend you guys to use it. It is very simple. Thank you for bearing me for this time. Thank you, guys.
Are we taking questions?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, suit. Any questions, guys? Yeah.
Can you configure the switch over time? Like you mentioned in the slide that it's 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Can you configure it to be around 45 seconds?
Yeah. We can do it from the deploy.yml file. Yeah, we can play around with it. There are so many features that I have deleted because it will add complexity and it will be hard for me to answer. So it is very simple, and we can just, there are so many options that it has in default. Yeah. You can try it from the try it by installing it in your local device, and it is it is actually commented in first time, and we can just use it if we require.
Okay.